Okay. Hi everyone. I'm actually in Melbourne today on Tuesday night, just before AUSOUG Connect 2018, here with Stuart Coggins. Um, and part of tonight, we're actually going to have a bit of a chat about what we're going to be doing at AUSOUG in the demo. We've got the Anki cars.
Again?
Well done. Well done. So, Cogs, tell me about how it first started, and we'll go from there.
Well, I think lots of people have heard the story. We started probably 2 more years ago now
Yeah.
as an IoT demo. And that's where we started.
Pause Fest.
Pause Fest. It was right here in Melbourne. That's where it all started, yeah. So a long time ago, and it was a case of getting data off the cars, streaming into our cloud and showing people how easy it was to get data into cloud. I mean, that was where we started. And here we are, several years later, still
Couple more grey hairs.
Still running the same demo. It's not quite the same. It's evolved over time, as with the products and the cloud services. But it's still relevant. It still engages people way more than I could ever have imagined.
So tell me, within that couple of years, I know there's been more than just what we've been doing here in Australia. What are you seeing worldwide with what you've been doing?
Yeah, well, look, we seem to have resonated worldwide, and once it moved from being an IoT demo into an integrated cloud demo, then people started using it to understand how we could put data to use. And so it's really become a data story. It's the background is to tell people, hey, Oracle is a data company, not just a database company, which is usually the sort of thing we get. We get lots of common questions, but you're a database company. They always do that. Sorry for anyone that has done that. But, equally, people don't always know we have a cloud.
Yep.
So it's been a great way to showcase that element. And so that story, so we have well over 100 around the world.
Wow.
Which is a crazy number. And, I regularly get calls on Slack now and notes on Slack from someone. There's a guy in Peru that's running Oracle in Peru that quite often asks. And Brazil is so Latin America seems to have kicked off big time.
I've seen it up in Tokyo, Korea.
Yeah, we're across Asia, so we're in lots of countries in Asia. EMEA have their own instance, so
Yep.
There's probably 30 or 40 across EMEA that they've done their own thing. It's based on our...
Bit of a shout out to the Spanish team.
Yeah, so Carlos in Spain has done a sensational job, and he and I talk regularly as well. So
Yep.
Big shout out to Carlos. He's done some sensational work out there, and we sort of inspire each other right now, which is awesome.
So tell me more about more recent developments, what we've been doing here, and evolving, because there's been some interesting developments more
Absolutely.
recently.
Yeah, certainly. And look, what we've done is the cloud products have evolved over time. We've got a really aggressive rollout of cloud products, and so we've tried to keep...
Crowd or cloud?
Cloud. I'll start again. We have a very aggressive rollout of cloud products, and we've leveraged those new technologies. Thanks for pointing that out.
That's okay.
We've leveraged that. We've leveraged those new technologies. So things like our autonomous data warehouse that we now siphon all of our data into that. We're doing machine learning now. I've been talking a story about machine learning for understanding where the cars are on the track and even the battery data. If you ever see me do the demo, I always talk about that stuff. We're actually bringing that to life now. We're actually using the data warehouse to do that kind of analytics. So the data-driven insights has made a big difference to how we run the demo. So the next iteration of the Anki demo will be a smart cities demo.
Cool.
Using the same kind of technologies, but just with a whole new spin on the data that we get from the cars.
Because it's actually interesting when you talk about that data-driven businesses, because that's been a thing for like the last few years, if not a little bit more, where, okay, let's do a bit more research about what's really happening, and then let's use the data to trump opinion as far as, and hearsay as far as what's happening in the business, and then use that to actually define quantifiable outcomes based upon that. However, a lot of that stuff needs to be backed up with qualitative aspects in terms of culture, how does it impact people, workforce success, and all those kind of things as well.
Absolutely, and what we see, because we can make things happen on the track in front of us, and you can see the exact or the immediate impact of what we're talking about, and then start making decisions on that. The whole idea of real time, near real time, but making those decisions, and that's what we try and talk about now. What am I using those insights to do? So what effect am I having on my business or my processes, or even even more simpler things than that. How am I using the data to make a difference?
I'll go back to Ross Dawson when he was doing the Oracle Impact sessions across the world. And I think I just saw something more recently in the last couple of days around that build, measure, learn, lean startup approach, all that kind of way.
Yes.
The whole data analytics is part of that measure, learn aspect. You do need to put something in place so you can measure that, which means that we need to give things a crack to actually have a go.
Absolutely. And funnily enough, I read something, and I can't remember who said it, so if it was you, nicely done. But it said that data is not the new oil, it's actually rocket fuel. And I really like that idea that we're using data, the data-driven insights, and it's so accessible now, and there's so much of it. Let's not. I've been saying for years, don't throw it away, keep it, because you never know what value it is. And now we're starting to see the effects of that with the tool sets that are around. You know, things like our data warehouse that we talk a lot about right now. I can spin it up right now. It takes 15 minutes to spin up. I dump my data in, and I'm starting to see
less than a coffee.
Exactly right. That's Franco's comment. Is it's less than a cup of coffee just to see what value we can get out of the data, and that's really neat today. When data warehouses traditionally take weeks or months to set up.
Changing that tact a little bit with Anki. Tell me about what's been happening in the education sector for you,
right, okay.
In terms of what that has created a broader impact beyond just telling stories within the Oracle space.
Yeah, so cut a long story short, Department of Education and the National Education Standards Authority saw the demo at one of our events. Timing was perfect for the new digital curriculum that's coming out in 2019. So as part of the Tech Mandatory Programme for grade 8 and 9, I believe it is, they're rolling out Anki into some public schools within New South Wales. So it's about 150 plus schools right now. So my colleague John Graves, who you would have seen some of the other videos with, and big shout out to John because the work is all his. He's written some user interfaces that the kids can interact with the cars. So if you think about STEM, you think about mathematics, engineering, obviously what STEM defined as, but the science, we can even go from, you know, just simply putting lights on the cars to actually driving them and being aware of other vehicles on the track, right through to that data science piece that I talked about when you talk about, you know, the battery degradation and some of the smarts around smart cities. We've made that accessible to the kids as part of the digital curriculum for 20. Super exciting project. The Department of Education have done a sensational job. It's
well done.
The fast and the curious is the tagline they've given to it. And so, you know, really excited to be part of that. That's a huge thing.
No, well done, mate.
You know, thank
and
you.
Well done, John. So stuff like that, especially that curious component, is actually, I think, probably as important in science, experimentation and research, that we are curious about what's in the business and how can we actually find things out. So congrats on all that kind of stuff. Congrats on the journey. And keen to actually see the track cars go around again tomorrow at AUSOUG.
Yes, thank you. Thanks
cool.
for your time.
See you later.
Thanks, everyone.